My name's Kristen Zimmerman. We're here with Teenager Tuesday for part 2 of Back to School Tips. I'm here with Kira Watson.
Hey.
We both work on the Central team again with Will Perry, Pastor Will Perry, and we are just bringing you some more tips this week. So I'm going to kick it off to Kira to start us off.
Yeah, starting with number 4, because we went through the first 3 tips last week. Number 4 is a tip that we kind of touched on a little bit in last week's podcast. So if you didn't listen, go back and listen to that one first.
Yeah.
Creating a family calendar. This is, again, so important for your student to learn, for you to have this as a tool as a family to stay organized with all of the things, sports, extracurricular activities, your work schedule, just everything that you could possibly think of. And so once a week, if you can just sit down as a family and plan out your week, talk through what your days look like, and see how you can come together. And then there are actually a few apps. The Cozy app is a good one. Google Calendar, that's the calendar that I use, that we use for our family calendar at home. So making sure that you have that as a resource for you and your family to look back on throughout the week as well.
Yeah, so good. And number 5 kind of goes with that a little bit. Plan ahead. Plan to get ahead and stay ahead. It's so easy to get ahead, but it's difficult to stay ahead. So the plan can always be there, but then managing the plan is always a struggle for some reason, no matter where you go. Talk through your family about why staying ahead is a better habit for their future and how you can help them stay organized to get ahead of assignments, deadlines, etc. And so, for instance, like managing your sports, but then like making time for homework.
Yeah.
And then, so for myself, like I even plan my Devo time, you know, in the morning. Like I have to have that on my calendar because that's important to me and I want to make sure that it's there. But planning ahead and staying ahead like a month in advance, like you said, like a month out is great. 6 months out is even better. Plan the big stuff and then you can fill in the small stuff.
Yeah. That kind of goes back to your family values and making those a priority too. So if a family Devo once a week or every day is important to you, then put that on the calendar.
Yeah.
And really challenge your students and your family as a whole to make that time for it.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Number 6, talk through stress and tensions. And those can be in a lot of places. They can be in friendships. They can be in classes. They can be in school activities. But it is so much better to get ahead of the possible stressors of the semester, of this year as a whole, than to get into the school year and into the swing of things and then realize, oh my gosh, I knew that this was going to be stressful, but it's so much more stressful than I thought it was going to be. So once your student gets their information about their classes and kind of what that semester looks like for them, maybe looking over that with them and seeing what weeks might be a little bit more stressful. When will they have finals? When are there big sports games that are going to be stressful for them? When are there tryouts for school teams?
Yeah.
So kind of looking at some of those things.
Yeah, that's good. Number 7, my favorite, eat breakfast.
So important.
I know everybody jokes about how important breakfast is. It's actually really important. I feel the difference when I don't eat breakfast in the morning. And so studies have shown that you are more alert and teenagers do better in class when they do eat. And so there's grab-and-go breakfast ideas that we're going to go over. And some of these, if you have dietary restrictions, you can always change them, of course. But a hard-boiled egg and an orange, you can peel them the night before, put them in a Ziploc bag, they're ready to go. Toast and peanut butter and a banana, that's great.
Yeah.
An egg sandwich and a pita or corn tortilla, you can boil or scramble the egg. And then plop it into a pita or a tortilla, spice it up with a little salsa.
Oh, yeah.
Yogurt and fruit in an ice cream cone. It's carry your breakfast, then in the container. That's a great idea. I personally like overnight oats.
Yeah.
And so I just put, the oats, the almond milk, whatever, put some yogurt on there. And then I have like frozen fruit. And I just put the frozen fruit and it's defrosted by the morning and you just grab and go.
Yeah.
I can
eat
it
in
in
the
the car.
With chia pudding too.
Yeah. It's so good.
Chia seeds. Yeah.
So easy. Egg muffin cups for the week. So you basically, I'm sure you've seen it on Pinterest or Instagram or whatever. You just put it in little muffin tins, put your toppings in there, bake it. It's great. Protein shakes are super easy in the morning.
Oh, yeah. I used to do that in high school because I would have to get to work, basically work, get to school so early for softball practice.
Yeah.
was never hungry for like a full meal, and my stomach, I would always wake up and my stomach would always hurt.
Yeah.
And so I needed something before my workout. And so I would always just have a protein shake on my way to school because that was the only thing that I could stomach. But it was something, it was substance to get me going.
My favorite is the Chunky Monkey. So it's like chocolate protein powder, almond milk, I'd use frozen bananas. Throw that in there, and peanut butter. Or PB2 powder even. Yeah. Like, oh, it's so good.
And if you don't have time to use a blender, Costco sells already done protein shakes that you can just grab out of the fridge.
Or muscle milks.
Yeah.
Love those too.
Oh, yeah. So good. All right. Moving on to number 8. Make sure that they are getting a good night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
A good night's sleep. Not just sleep. Make sure that they're getting good sleep. It's interesting to me the amount of studies that have shown that students or people in general that fall asleep to blue light, so like their phone, the TV, computer, anything like that, your brain's not able to fully shut off while you sleep. And so making sure that maybe they keep their phone downstairs if you have a 2-story house, or maybe everybody just puts their phone in the kitchen at night to charge, and that way they're not staying up until the wee hours of the morning, scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or texting friends, who knows. So really making sure that technology is kind of limited closer to bedtime is one of the best things that you can do for your sleep and for the sleep of your teenager.
Yeah, I found a study a while back that said like your brain doesn't shut off until 2 hours after you've already gone to bed if you're using blue light.
That's crazy.
And so like even if you go to bed at 11, you're really not going to bed till 1.
Yeah.
Because of your blue light. So I've been pretty good about putting my phone on like do not disturb around 8:30 and then not looking at my phone. Every once in a while I'll pick it up, like my daughter's out and I check on her, but I don't want to be like scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Like this is my off time. I don't want to answer texts. I don't want to answer phone calls. So like setting that boundary and then creating the habit it takes time and getting used to, but my brain feels better for it. You know what I mean? Like I'm able to de-stress. So
yeah. And if you're someone like me who can't turn their brain off sometimes, because sometimes that's why we scroll at night before we go to bed, because we can't turn our brains off. I actually found this like random Instagram post while I was scrolling one night before falling asleep because I couldn't turn my brain off, that just encouraged me to just close my eyes and just start thinking about like the most random things ever, like anything that popped into your head. Because eventually when you're thinking about enough random things, your mind can't focus on what it couldn't let go before. So, and that's been pretty beneficial for me for the last few months.
That's good. I love that. I'm going to try. Number 9, ask for 2 to 3 ways that you can best support them this school year. So there may be something on their mind that they're worried about that they haven't told you yet. And so for us as parents, just to ask them questions, sometimes they might be like, I'm fine. Like, you don't need to ask. And then other times I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for asking. I'm actually struggling with this and I have no idea how to handle this, or I'm stressing about this class because I think I'm going to fail it, or like just different things, or going to a new school. A lot of kids are going to new schools this year, transferring. So they have no idea who their friends are going to be, what it looks like. There's some kids that are going from super small schools to giant schools. Yeah. And so for me, like as an introvert, that is so overwhelming to go into a sea of thousands of people every day in the hallway a few times a day. So that might be something that am I going to get to class on time? How do I do that? And it goes back to time management. So it's like learning where you're going and all those things. So ask how you can best support them. And sometimes they might surprise you with actually like, hey, I actually need help in this area. What can I do? What can I do? So
yeah, that's so good. That kind of leads us into number 10, which is our last but not least tip. Be a student of your student or students. Maybe say something like, I've noticed this about you lately. Have you noticed that about yourself? And kind of asking the questions and not being afraid as a parent to push to the next level for the sake of your students' growth and their mental health sometimes, their safety, anything like that. Another question to ask is there anything that you think I've been assuming about you lately? Which that is such a hard question. Yeah. But such a good one to kind of set the stage and open dialogue with your student for them to feel like they can come to you if they do feel like you've been assuming something about them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hard. But some of the best conversations that I've had with my mom have been just real and honest of like, hey, you're assuming that about me and that really sucks because I'm nothing like my older siblings. I'm the youngest of 4.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time growing up, it would be comparison with my other siblings. And I'm like, no, that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
Don't put that on me, please. So open that dialogue with your student and it'll really kind of set the stage for your relationship with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, parents, it's another great week. Always remember, you can do this. You're not alone. God is with you, and so are we.
Have a good week.